Marvel Snap is a free-to-play card game, similar in many ways to other online card games like Hearthstone and Magic Arena. The main gameplay revolves around quick, 6-turn matches where both players play cards to 3 different locations. You win by controlling 2 of the 3 locations, and you gain control of a location by having a higher power than your opponent there. The game is simple to learn, but has plenty of variety, with over 150 unique cards featuring Marvel heroes and villains. Other than playing matches, another major aspect of the game is collecting cards and using them to build new decks. Marvel Snap is unique in the realm of card games, as you don't open random card packs to get new cards. Instead, you need to progress the collection track, where you'll earn new cards and other rewards as you increase your collection level. Your collection level is a measure of the cards in your collection and their level. You increase your collection level by upgrading the cards you already own. When you get a card, it starts at common, then can be upgraded from common to uncommon, then all the way up to infinity. These upgrades change the visual effects of the card, like making them pop out of the frame, or adding a 3D effect. Each upgrade will increase your collection level by a different amount. From common to uncommon, you increase it by 1 level. From ultra to infinity, you increase it by 10. Leveling up these cards only changes the way they look and has no impact on their use in game. In this video, we're going to break down Marvel Snap's monetization. First, we'll determine how the core gameplay is impacted by the monetization systems. Next, we'll be looking at the pricing of the items sold in-game, regardless of how they impact core gameplay. And finally, we'll look at some of the tactics the game uses to manipulate players into spending money. Before we get into that though, here's a quick breakdown on the different resources in the game. In Marvel Snap, there's 3 primary resources. First are boosters. These are essentially experience points for your cards. All boosters earned are for specific cards, so you end up with boosters for Iron Man, Hulk, Mr. Fantastic, and so on. Boosters' only use is as one of 2 resources required to upgrade your cards. The second resource is credits. Credits are a generic currency that's only used in conjunction with boosters to upgrade your cards. Then the last resource is gold. Gold is a generic premium currency in Marvel Snap that can be used to purchase credits or variant cards. Variant cards are essentially just skins for your cards that you already own that feature different art. You can get boosters, credits, and gold in the following ways. First are match rewards. After each match, you can get up to 6 boosters for a random card in your deck. Second are daily missions. Every 8 hours, you get 2 missions that you can finish by completing challenges in games, like winning matches or playing cards, that reward you with credits. Third is the weekly challenge. Every 5 daily missions you complete rewards you with credits and gold, up to 5 times a week. Then next we have the collection track. As mentioned before, when you upgrade your cards with boosters and credits, you increase your collection level to earn new cards. You can also earn boosters and credits as part of the collection track. And eventually, you'll also get gold and cosmetics in loot boxes that are earned in the collection track once you have just over half the cards in the game. Next are ranked rewards. For reaching higher ranks by winning games, you can earn boosters, credits, gold, and various cosmetic items. Then we have the Season Pass. By leveling up the Season Pass, done by playing games and completing missions, you can earn gold, credits, boosters, and cosmetics in both the paid and free version. Then finally, we have the in-game shop, where you can buy gold, credits, and cosmetics. The main impact that monetization has on Marvel Snap's core gameplay is how you progress through the game, i.e. how you get new cards. Once you finish the tutorial parts of the game, you'll have the 26 base cards in your collection to build decks with. After that, every time you upgrade your cards and increase your collection level, you'll unlock new random cards. It's however important to understand that the cards you get aren't completely random, and instead have been split into 3 separate pools. Pool 1 has 46 cards, Pool 2 has 25, and Pool 3 has the remaining 76. The 46 cards in the first pool are available to be unlocked once you have all the base cards. So once you level up after the tutorial section, you'll get a random card from the 46 in Pool 1. You're not able to get any cards from later pools until you've unlocked all the cards in the pool you're in. So let's say for example, I've unlocked 44 Pool 1 cards and unlock a new random card from the collection track. The only card I'm going to be able to get is one of the 2 Pool 1 cards I don't have yet. Then once I have both of those, I can start getting Pool 2 cards. This system of unlocking cards makes it so that players with similar collection levels aren't going to have the exact same cards, but are going to have lots of overlap and only cards of the same pool unlocked. After completing the tutorial section and unlocking the base cards, you'll progress quickly through Pool 1 by consistently upgrading your cards with credits and boosters. In this stage, you'll have plenty of credits as you're given a bunch at the start and are consistently rewarded with them from the methods we mentioned before, so that you can always upgrade your cards once you earn enough boosters by playing matches. However, eventually near the end of Pool 1 or start of Pool 2, you'll start finishing matches and have gained enough boosters to upgrade a card, but not have enough credits to do it. This is the first time progression slows down, as the game doesn't provide you with enough credits to upgrade the cards you have enough boosters for, and then you end up with a ton of cards you can upgrade, but not enough credits to go around. You do get a fair amount of credits for free via almost every system in the game, but don't get them after completing a match, so there's a hard limit on the amount of credits you can earn each day. This will leave players wanting to progress, but unable to. Luckily, the game offers a solution. You can buy more credits in the in-game shop to keep your progression going. The other more obvious way to slow you down is the collection track, where they progressively increase the number of levels you need to earn a new card. For example, for most of Pool 1, you only need to increase your collection level by 4 levels to get a new card, whereas by the end of Pool 2, you need to increase it by 12 levels just to get one card. Then, it gets worse once you hit Pool 3, because instead of being rewarded with a guaranteed card, you're instead given a loot box with a 50% chance at a new card. Then, after your first 50 odd boxes, the odds go down to a 25% chance at a new card. This also gives you the opportunity to get cosmetic items without paying real money, but you could also end up with some relatively useless items, like a minor amount of credits. These end up being pure padding in the game and forces players to engage with the loot box system to progress. With this progression system, you'll be able to unlock all the cards up to the end of Pool 3 at around collection level 3,300. This goes to show how much Pool 3 is padded out, as by collection level 500, you'll have all 71 cards in Pool 1 and 2, plus all the base cards, but will need to gain another 2,800 levels to get the 76 cards in Pool 3. As a free-to-play player, it takes a little over 6 months of consistent playing to get the collection level up to 3,300. It however only takes 1.5 months if you were to spend as much money as you could on credits in the in-game shop, which would end up being around $1,000 US. Recently, the team at Marvel Snap announced a relatively big update that's adding 2 new features to the game that impact the progression. First are collector's tokens. These are a new currency that you'll be able to use to buy specific cards in the in-game shop. Every 8 hours, 1 new card will be available in the shop to buy that is determined at random. These tokens can be acquired as drops in loot boxes that you get in Pool 3, and have a 25% chance at dropping 100 tokens, and you'll need at least 1,000 to buy a new card. Second are 2 new pools of cards, Pool 4 and 5. These 2 new pools don't function like the other pools in the game, and instead, you can get the cards in them at the same time as you get the Pool 3 cards in any of the loot boxes that you get off the collection track. There are 10 Pool 4 cards and 6 Pool 5 cards to collect. Pool 4 cards are 10 times rarer than the standard Pool 3 cards, and the Pool 5 cards are 10 times rarer than the Pool 4 cards. This means that there's only a 2.5% chance at pulling a Pool 4 card, and only a minuscule 0.25 chance at pulling a Pool 5 card. In other words, to pull one Pool 5 card, you're going to need to open around 400 boxes. The collector's tokens are a nice addition to the game that give players some choice as to what cards they get, but is limited, as on average you're only going to get enough collector's tokens to buy a new Pool 3 card every 480 levels. And although it's nice to have the new cards added to the game, between the Pool 4 and 5 cards, it's going to take thousands of additional collection levels to get all 16 because of how rare they are. That equals to months of additional waiting for free players, on top of the time you already have to wait to get all the other cards in the game. The end result of these new changes is that players are going to get some agency over the cards they get and may be able to play some new decks sooner, but also further pads out the collection track and makes getting rare cards frustrating. There are also 2 other more direct ways that getting new cards has been monetized. First are bundles that you can buy in the shop. Right now you can buy the starter bundle for $2.99 US that gives you a Captain America variant card that lets you use the Captain America card before you unlock the base version on the collection track. This is only a minor progression boost, as you unlock the Captain America card relatively quickly as part of Pool 1, and are still going to need to unlock the base version even if you buy the bundle. You can also buy the Cyber Holiday bundle for 7,500 gold, or right around $94. That's similar to the starter bundle, gives you a variant card, this time for Apocalypse, another Pool 1 card. This bundle however gives you 9,500 credits and 3,000 collector's tokens. The tokens are equivalent to buying any Pool 3 card. This allows you to directly pay to unlock any card you want in the shop. I also assume that there's going to be similar bundles in the future. The second method is the Season Pass. As noted before, both the paid and free versions of the pass provide all kinds of resources and cosmetics, but exclusive to the paid version is a new card. As of making this video, every month, one brand new card is released in the Season Pass that can only be obtained by purchasing the paid version. You're still able to get the card if you don't buy the pass once it's added to the unlockable cards in Pool 5, once the season's over. This however means that unless you want to be a month behind other players, you're forced to buy the Season Pass, and opens up the door to making free-to-play players play at a disadvantage for a month if the Season Pass card is extremely powerful. In addition to the monthly Season Pass card, they'll be adding 3 new cards to Pool 5 every month, 1 card a week. This means that as a free-to-play player, you're not going to be able to get every card in the game anymore, because you're almost never going to be getting Pool 5 cards from boxes, and it takes around a month to get enough tokens to buy 1 Pool 5 card. Under this system, it will cost around $500 a month to keep a full collection, even once you have all the other cards in the game. The devs have explained that they don't want everyone to have a full collection, as they want people to be looking forward to something. But they don't seem to have any problem with you having all the cards if you're willing to pay $500 a month. How problematic this is going to depend on how strong the new cards are and how many you need to build a new competitive deck. But just like the Season Pass cards, it's going to give paying players an advantage. They have however said that the cards in Pool 5 will eventually be downgraded to Pool 4, and then from Pool 4 to Pool 3, making these cards more easy to access. Also, for card games, you don't necessarily need to have all the cards in the game to be competitive or to have fun, but you do need a reasonable way of accessing the cards you need to build the decks you want. The way Marvel Snap is currently set up makes it so that new cards are harder to access without paying a lot of money, and although the collector's token system makes it a bit easier to access the cards you need for your decks, it's also limited by only having 1 card offered every 8 hours, and by how long it takes to get tokens. Even in games with lots of problems around their monetization like Hearthstone, you're able to get any card you want via the dust system, where you can pick specific cards you want to craft by getting rid of other cards that you don't want. In Marvel Snap, the only other way they monetize is via variant cards that you can buy for gold. These variant cards are only available for cards that you already own and are entirely cosmetic, just changing the art of the cards and has no impact on gameplay. You may be thinking now that the game sounds pretty pay to win, or at least pay to compete, because if you can buy progression, people will have more cards and better decks. That's where the saving grace of Marvel Snap comes in, the matchmaking. Unlike other card games, the matchmaking in Marvel Snap is based primarily on collection level. This means that you're mostly going to be matched against people who have similar collection levels to you. You may not both have exactly the same cards in your collection, but you're going to have a similar number of cards from similar pools, meaning that someone halfway through Pool 1 won't be matched against someone in Pool 2 or 3, or even someone who's collected almost all the Pool 1 cards. This system makes the game feel more fair and competitive for players at all levels. The overall impact of monetization on Marvel Snap's gameplay is that they've made progression slow on purpose, so you get frustrated or bored with your current cards and pay to get new ones. Additionally, they've essentially time-locked all their newest content to paying players via the Season Pass and weekly additions to Pool 5. As a free-to-play player, you're not going to be getting the same experience as players that are spending $500 a month on the game. However, because of the matchmaking system, you're still able to have fun and be relatively competitive. As noted before, it's eventually possible for players to get most of the cards in the game without spending money. But progress is significantly slowed down at around the start of Pool 2 and progressively gets worse as you move into Pool 3. While you can't spend money to directly buy cards, you're able to pay to get more credits and buy collector's tokens to then be able to progress faster. So how much does it cost to get these new cards? To level up the collection level by 1, it costs around 50 credits, and you can buy credits at a rate of around 1.25 credits for 1 gold. So it costs around 40 gold per level. You can buy gold in 6 different amounts, ranging from $5 for 300 gold to $100 for 8,000 gold. This means that for 1 level on the collection track, it's going to cost you between 67 and 50 cents, depending on how much gold you buy. How far you've progressed in the collection will dictate how many levels you're going to need to get a new card. But let's assume that you've been able to make it midway through Pool 2 using the free credits you get from the start of the game, daily and weekly missions, and other sources. The next card unlock is going to take you around 12 levels, so 1 new card is going to cost you between $6 and $8. Then, once you hit around the start of Pool 3, it's going to start to cost on average between $8 and $11 per card. And then it gets even worse once you start to hit the end of Pool 3, where you're going to be on average spending between $32 and $24 per card. And this gets even pricier when you start to consider the new Pool 4 and Pool 5 cards, as once you have all the other cards in the game, it'll cost around $500 a month for the 3 new cards added to Pool 5 so that you can keep a complete collection. In games that have similar systems where you have to buy all the cards or characters individually, it's normally much cheaper. For instance, in League of Legends, if you don't want to wait to buy a character, it only costs between $2 and $7, and you also get to pick what character you want to buy right away. All that to say that the price of getting new cards faster is steep when compared to other games, and will leave players paying a lot of money or waiting months to access all the content in the game. Now for the Season Pass. As with many games, the Season Pass provides good value for what you get in compared to buying all the items individually from the shop, and even has a free track with pretty good rewards. However, as we mentioned before, the paid version of the pass provides a time-locked card every month. Also, unlike most battle passes in games like Call of Duty and Fortnite, you can't buy the Marvel Snap Season Pass with in-game currency. Also, instead of a season only lasting a few months, there's a new battle pass every month. This means that if you want to stay current and have access to all the content in the game, you'll need to buy a new pass every month with real money. Without the ability to use gold to purchase this pass, this is essentially a subscription to stay current with the game. This can be a big ask at about the cost of 2 AAA games a year, not to mention that you still have to progress through the collection track to get all the other cards, and are going to be paying around $500 a month to get the weekly card releases if you want to stay completely current with the game. That works out to thousands of dollars a year if you want to keep a full collection. Also, to quickly mention the bundles, they end up being decent value if you were going to be buying the equivalent items regardless, but the items in the shop are very expensive to begin with, so the bundles also end up being very pricey. Variant cards, i.e. skins, are the other main thing that you can buy in Marvel Snap, and as mentioned before, are cosmetic items, meaning that they don't really affect gameplay. Variant cards are bought in the shop for either 700 or 1200 gold, depending on their rarity. In dollars, this means that a 700 gold variant costs around $10, while a 1200 gold variant costs around $16. $10 is around the cost of a skin in other games like League of Legends and Fortnite, and $16 is a little bit higher than the cost of a rare skin in both those games. The problem here is that with games like League and Fortnite, you buy a skin and get to use it all the time for your gameplay, whereas in Marvel Snap, you only get a skin for one of the 12 cards in your deck, and so you may not get to see it in every game you play. Additionally, in games like League of Legends, skins impact the character model and animations, whereas in Marvel Snap, it only changes the card art. Finally, if you want a skin for your whole deck, you have to buy skins for 12 different cards. So let's say you love the pixel variants of cards and want to make a full pixel deck. It'll run you at least $100, assuming all the variants cost the normal 700 gold. In my opinion, because of these factors, the skins are a little overpriced in the shop. A more reasonable price might be $5 for a skin, so you can more reasonably get a full deck of variants. To be fair, you do get some gold for free just by playing the game, but to keep up with the game as a free-to-play player, you're going to be spending that gold on credits instead of skins. Now let's take a look at some of the tactics that Marvel Snap uses to try to get you to spend more money. First is the rotating shop. Obviously, they want you to spend more money by buying skins, but the tactic they're using here is really the fear of missing out. Instead of having all the variant cards available for you to buy all at once, they limit you to 6 options a day. This makes it so that if you see a variant that you really want, or one that you're on the fence about, you're more likely to buy it right away because it's only available for a limited time, and you won't be able to buy it whenever you want. Next is the starter bundle. The starter bundle is good value compared to everything else in the store, but you can only buy it once. It's intended to get your feet wet by making it attractive for you to spend money for the first time, because once you make one purchase, you're more likely to make another. Then we have the free credits in the shop. Every day you can get 50 free credits. For this, all you have to do is go to the shop tab and claim them. You even get a notification about when the free credits are available. Here, the game is encouraging you to go to the shop and scroll through it so that you're able to claim the credits. This gets you looking at the skins that are available via the daily offer, additionally gets you in the shop, making it more likely that you're going to spend money. Similar to the free daily credits, we have the collector's tokens. So to buy a new card with these tokens, you're going to need to also head over to the in-game shop. And if you're looking for something specific, you're going to be checking the shop every 8 hours because you only get offered one card at a time. Not to mention that on your way to the new card, you're going to be scrolling right past all the variants for sale. Next we have currency conversion. Having to buy gold to buy most things in the shop is going to make it so that you're disassociating your purchases with spending real money. It also makes everything a lot more complicated and harder to tell how much you're actually spending. Also, having to buy gold instead of directly buying the items that you want makes it so that for most of your purchases, you're going to be buying more gold than you actually need. Like for example, if you wanted to buy a rare variant for 1200 gold, the closest amount of gold you can actually buy in the shop is 1450. So you end up with 250 more gold than you needed and end up spending more money than you wanted to. Next we have the mission system. You get 6 missions every day, 2 every 8 hours, but you can only have a maximum of 6 at any given time. This means that if you don't play for a day, you miss out on new missions. In lots of other free-to-play games, you're given a buffer of a day or two where missions can stack, so you're not punished for not playing every day. It's extra punishing in Marvel Snap because missions are one of the main ways that players can earn credits. Companies do this because they know that the more you play, the more likely you are to spend money. Next we have the main screen ads. In the interface, the largest section of the screen is taken up by ads for things like the Battle Pass. If this space weren't used to advertise, they could likely use it to make the interface more functional and focused around the actual gameplay. We also have loot boxes. Once you hit pool 3 in the collection track, they add loot boxes as a reward. This is an addictive mechanism that can be used to hook people and get them to spend more money on the game than they otherwise would have. As seen before, it's also used to slow down progression and has gotten even worse with the pool 4 and 5 cards. We also have the excessive notifications. Between the season pass, daily missions, weekly missions, collector's track, rank rewards, upgrading cards, and free credits in the shop, after every game, you're prompted to stop actually playing the game and to click on a bunch of tabs to claim rewards. This provides you with constant little hits of dopamine when you level up or check off a box and is designed to keep you hooked to the game, but also pulls you away from the actual gameplay. And finally, we have the fact that they've been time limiting cards via the season pass and weekly additions to pool 5. This puts players that aren't paying at a disadvantage and pushes them to spend money so that they can access new content. One more thing I wanted to mention that doesn't really affect the review, but I feel is important to add, is that in the beta, before the release of the game, the devs added loot boxes to the in-game shop that you could buy for gold, that added a new card locked behind the system, similar to how cards are locked behind the season pass. It was calculated at the time that on average to get the new card, it would cost around $400. After a huge community backlash, the developers removed the system entirely and refunded everyone who spent money on it. They have since stated that their plans for monetization is to continue with the Battle Pass and variant cards, and don't really currently have plans to add any other monetization methods. It's however worth noting that some may consider the addition of Pool 4 and 5 cards a new monetization system, as they add super rare cards into loot boxes that are already in the game. And now for the ratings. First, we have monetization's impact on gameplay. I would be rating Marvel Snap a 2 based on how much padding is in the game, plus the advantages that paying players have via the Season Pass and weekly Pool 5 additions. But the matchmaking really saves this game from a lower score. It makes it so that you can be relatively competitive at any level, even though you're still getting a different experience from paying players and are heavily impacted by the monetization systems. All in all, I give Marvel Snap a 4 out of 10 in this category. Next, we have pricing. Due to the ridiculous amount the game charges for progression, especially for newer releases, the fact that the monthly season pass can't be purchased for gold, and the skins being overpriced for what you get, overall, I rate the pricing on Marvel Snap a 2.5 out of 10. And finally, we have the monetization tactics. Like many live service and mobile games, Marvel Snap uses many monetization tactics to get players to spend money, including FOMO tactics, multiple in-game currencies, lures to the shop, excessive notifications, giving paying players an advantage, and loot boxes. Because of these factors, I rate this section a 3.5 out of 10. Marvel Snap is saved from a lower score as they don't have more aggressive tactics. For example, they don't have pop-ups in your face all the time. Overall, in terms of monetization, Marvel Snap really struggles with pricing, and resembles many mobile games in terms of tactics and aggressiveness, but is somewhat saved by its matchmaking system that makes it more competitive. It's still a game that you can have fun with without spending a lot of money, but you'll need to understand the tactics they use and be okay with the slow progression. You'll also need to understand that paying players are getting a different experience and are going to have an edge over you. Overall, I give Marvel Snap's monetization a rating of 3.3 out of 10. Thanks for watching.